Welcome to your weekday cup of the word. Today we begin the First Thessalonian letter. In order to understand the beauty of the letter to the Thessalonians, you have to understand where they came from. See, the Thessalonians, that church is the church that should have never been. If you go to Acts chapter 17, Paul traveled in his second missionary journey. He's going to travel to Thessalonica, and he's going to preach there for 3 weeks. And in a 3-week time period, people are going to convert from all over the place. It's going to have a massive impact, Paul's message of Christ. And it's going to be such an impact so quickly that the Jews become deeply jealous. They drive Paul out of town. And here's the church in Thessalonica left with only 3 weeks worth of teaching and expected to hold their own. Well, can you imagine how many churches would survive with such short amount of teaching? Well, Paul was worried about that, and after he left and went down to Berea, he eventually is going to send Timothy back in hopes that Timothy can find the church, help them, and make sure the church doesn't dissolve. Paul will then travel from Thessalonica to Berea and then down to Athens, and he will wait in Athens for Timothy to send him word. And Timothy won't come. And eventually he'll head all the way down to Corinth and wait and wait. And then Timothy shows up. And Timothy shows up not just to tell him about the Thessalonians, but to tell him the wonderful news of these Christians who stood firm and were faithful and were vibrant and passionate for the Lord. People of deep conviction, even though they'd only known Christ for such a short amount of time. Well, that is the occasion on which this letter is written. So if you understand that backstory, the first chapter especially makes a ton of sense, because Paul is writing and he's just going to heap praises on them, how much joy they bring him and how happy he is and what conviction they have and how proud he is of them, because even as babes in Christ, they had stood firm on the rock of ages against the powers of the jealous Jews and the Gentile immorality that they were surrounded by. Could we say the same, that we have such conviction? That is First Thessalonians chapter 1. That's your daily cup, and we'll see you tomorrow.